John Deere, the most popular tractor brand ever. So how did this trusted name in farming become farmers' worst enemy? What does this mean for the future of John Deere? And that's exactly what I'm going to be explaining in the next 45 minutes. So sit back, relax, maybe grab some popcorn, and enjoy the video.
Chapter 1.
How did John Deere go from a small local company to a billion-dollar business? John Deere started his company as a small blacksmith, specializing in the best agriculture equipment at the time. John Deere was born in 1804 in Rutland, Vermont. When this boy was only 4 years old, he lost his father, and he was solely raised by his mother. He was very known in his town. And you're probably wondering, why was John Deere so known in his town? That's later in the video. His workmanship was super exponential. Therefore, he was popular in his town because of his super exponential blacksmith skills. Things were going amazing until the economy of England collapsed in 1836. Therefore, people in Vermont started to migrate toward Illinois, and John followed that trend and made his shop in Grand Detour, Illinois.
And that little speck right there is the town.
And shortly after he started, he was somewhat known around the town. But short after, he learned that farmers around the coast used iron plows that performed very poorly due to the sticky soil of the Midwest prairie. Therefore, sticking to the plows and making it super hard to get anything done, and they have to stop every few feet to get the mud off of their, giving Deere a great idea. And you might be wondering, what was Deere's great idea? Well, Deere thought if the surface of the plow was super high polished, then it would keep shredding through the sticky soil and move through the field. So Deere, with his inventor mindset, made a plow using a material. And it was out of his broken saw blade. And you might be wondering, what was this amazing material made out of? That is once again later. And the plow was a huge hit. Therefore, soon his plows spread throughout the entire village, as people heard of a young blacksmith had tested his improvement. And soon those plows not only became Deere's identity, but those plows also made him a main business. John became super famous among farmers in his community, and this wonderful plow was made of a strong steel. Therefore, to multiply success and 10 more in 1829. Until the 1840s, John was happy with his plows business. But he also made other tools. And what were those other tools? Well, soon we'll talk about it. Soon his products became so recognized that he thought of increasing his production. And the other tools were shovels and pitchforks. So not very exciting, but it's still okay. The reason why he did not increase his shop is because his shop was too small for growth, and he did not know what he would make. But he would eventually end up making a new product. And you might be wondering what that new product is. Well, once again, that is later in the video. But the turning point of his business came when he met Leonard Ardus in 1843. He was also a blacksmith in Grand Detour and was looking for ways to expand. Deere considered a grand opportunity and asked him for partnership. So therefore, they both decided to construct factories for plows together, which was a very effective meeting the demand of the sticky soil of the Midwest. In 1848, watching the growth of demand, Deere knew he would have to have a better transport source. And what did he do to accomplish that, you ask? He moved the operating facility 70 miles southwest of Moline, Illinois. Therefore, it was located on the east bank of the Mississippi River. And at the new location, John Deere easily got the raw materials he needed from the river. And he was super smart by using water power to power his plant. Therefore, the new location proved to be very fruitful. and his business was very successful. And it was a time when Deere and his company were making a whopping 1,000 plows per year. Although, due to the ownership disabilities of the company with his partners, John Deere wanted to become the sole owner of his company. So therefore, he decided to dissolve his contract with Andrus. This destruction was very important and a huge step for Deere. And finally, he completely controlled his business, using his own strategies and opportunities. But he had to manage everything alone. With this dissolution, he solidified his company's reputation in the agriculture equipment industry quite well. And his farming equipment brought much ease to the farming industry because it enabled farmers to do more in improving farmers' efficiency and lots more crop production. So therefore, it was a golden year for the Deere Company when in 1855, and it was marked the actual turning point of the Deere business, and they were able to sell more than 10,000 plows. People even started calling the plow that broke the plains. However, in 1858, a nationwide financial on the company. Therefore, not many people were investing in agriculture. John Deere relied on, and there is a super high chance of, and the farmers were suffering greatly due to the reduced income and suddenly rise of debt. Therefore, because of that, and to escape these complexities, John had to make some super big adjustments. And to get out of this financial storm, companies started to focus more on cost-efficient methods, therefore improving the operational efficiency and maintaining relationships with loyal customers. When the station became more stable, in 1876, Deere and Company applied for their very first company logo, picturing an image of a jumping deer. But unfortunately, living his long, prosperous life, John Deere passed away in the year 1880, marking the end of it. Therefore, he focused on expanding the business and the company's product the most, and also introducing John Deere's bicycles for the first time in the year 1890. The start of a new century brought a new era for John Deere Company, which is often referred to as the birth of the modern John Deere. This was defined as many acquisitions and in fierce market competition. Charles's son-in-law, William Butterworth, in 1912, 5 years after Charles died in 1907, took over the company. One of John Deere's only competitors at the time was, as most of you could probably guess, the International Harvester. Both companies were growing side by side until 1906, when the International Harvester Company started pushing its dealerships to sell only its brand's product. The company, which is also known in some cases to people as IH, expanded its range and by companies that made farm wagons, gas engines, and also manure spreader. Therefore, this worried Deere and Company very badly because they feared that the International Harvester Company might try to buy the company out. But to protect the company, in 1907, William Butterworth bought Fort Smith's Wagon Company and started a John Deere plow company in Canada. They also attempted to buy a Canadian harvester company, but they did not come to terms. But the news of this acquisition made International Harvester Company very worried, especially when Deere hired its top designers. This is exactly how Deere outsmarted its competitors and continued to lead the agriculture industry really nicely. And by the end of 1912, the company was operating with 15 manufacturing facilities, 24 sales branches, and an export department based in Moline. William wanted to revive the company's original agriculture spirit and expand the field of tractors for farmers. The company also briefly experimented with many of its own tractor models. Among these, the most successful was the Dane all-wheel drive. However, they weren't satisfied with it, and they decided to make a better acquisition in 1918. They purchased as you probably know, the name, it is exactly what you are thinking, and company is, they purchased the Waterloo Gasloo Engine Company for a huge amount of $2.5 million back in 1918, which is approximately equal to $42 million today. Therefore, due to this purchase, Deere and Company were able to manufacture the super popular, amazing Waterloo Boy tractor. This tractor is also popular, I bet, because it is John Deere's pretty much first tractor. And I bet even Case guys nowadays know what the Waterloo Boy is. That means something right there. Serving its facilities in Waterloo, Iowa, which they continued to manufacture and sell more tractors made under the name of Waterloo Boy until 1923, when the second John Deere tractor was ever made. And this amazing tractor looked a little bit different than the Waterloo Boy. And this tractor was the John Deere Model D, introduced obviously in 1923. The John Deere tractor marked a huge milestone because it was the first tractor built, marketed, and named John Deere as the name we know today. This tractor had a 2-cylinder kerosene engine producing about 15 horsepower at the drawbar and 22 horsepower at the belt, which is incredible for back in that time. Its efficiency replaced the Waterloo Boy in the company's lineup. Even today, the company continues its legacy of manufacturing a wide range of tractors in Waterloo, Iowa. Modern series like the 9R, 8R, and 7R tractors demonstrate John Deere's ongoing dedication. However, 4 years later, in 1927, Deere made its first combine harvester, the John Deere No. 2, which had more horsepower than the John Deere Model D. However, the following year, they introduced the smaller John Deere No. 1, which caught on a lot better and people liked the combine a lot more. And by 1927, both the No. 2 and the No. 1 were replaced by newer, lighter harvesters, helping farmers save a bunch of time and lots of labor costs. And in the new year, 1934, John Deere developed their super famous tractor. And what's that tractor? That's a little bit later in the video. One of these tractors was designed for larger farms and offered much power and versatility, while the other tractor was made for smaller farms. And these tractors were the John Deere Model A, meant for the bigger farms, and the John Deere Model B, which is meant for the smaller farms. That was very easy to use and offered lots of maneuverability. During World War II, the temporary president of the company was Burton F. Peake, and Burton took over for John Deere's great-grandson, Charles Deere Wilman, which accepted a commission as a colonel in the U.S. Army. While Charles was away, Burton directed the war production, Ford's Farm Machinery and Equipment Division. In addition to that, he also expanded the product line by manufacturing military tractors that looked incredibly dangerous. They also made aircraft parts, ammunition, and mobile laundry units to support the war effort. In the year 1947, John Deere introduced their first self-propelled combine, which was the Model 55, which therefore was followed by smaller models that observed the market demands. In the same year, the company also released the John Deere Model M tractor, which featured an amazing hydraulic lift system, which was one of the first of its kind. This amazing system allowed a much easier and efficient operation of mounting implements, reducing labor and physical strain. Its user-friendly design became very popular among the small farms in America. During the mid-1950s, Deere also introduced an attachable corn head, which helped farmers pick, shell, and clean their own corn in a more smooth operation, rather than spending a day doing this process step by step. Growing its name in the industry of foreign countries, Deere and Company bought a German tractor manufacturing company named Heinrich Lahs AG in the year 1956. Therefore, in the same year, the company also opened its very first foreign manufacturing plant in Mexico. Therefore, leading up to John Deere's non-stop expansion into the second half of the 20th century, which led to its great global network of factories, offices, and design centers, manufacturing products according to the demands of the region. At the time, the company was decentralized and had very significant freedom in designing different products, choosing dealers and supplies, running factories, and manufacturing distributions. However, the company's core focus during those years was on global growth and expansion to other countries. Deere also created the standalone industry equipment division and established many new dealerships to support a full lineup of construction machinery. By 1958, John Deere's Credit came into being, which handled finance, demonstrate purchases of John Deere equipment. The credit structure was actually formalized in 1931, when the company began accepting farmer credit notes and extending payment terms during the Great Economy Depression. This helped farmers through tough times, strengthen loyalty for generations, and therefore showed John Deere's commitment to the people connecting to the land. Today, it has supported farmers across a whopping 53 different countries with financial solutions to keep them running for decades. However, on August 30th, 1960, John Deere held a big event called Deere Days in Dallas to showcase their 4-cylinder and 6-cylinder tractors. Dealers from around the world came to see the brand new tractors, which took 5 years to develop. This event was featured with presentations, live demos, and many new vehicles. It was held in large venues in Dallas, including Dallas Memorial Auditorium and Cotton Bowl. A special John Deere tractor with a diamond nameplate was also displayed at the Neiman Marcus show. John Deere's next update was the new 10 Series tractors, which had many upgrades from the older models, including the horsepower, better hydraulics, and improved operating comfort. Therefore, the amazing John Deere 4010 was the most popular model, with over 58,000 of them sold. From 1960 to 1963, which is super crazy, especially for that time. This success helped John Deere boost its market shares from 23% in 1959 to 34% in 1964, which is a huge upgrade, making the John Deere Company the top farm equipment manufacturing in the U.S. This is a huge upgrade in the company's history and made the world realize that John's instincts were very right. However, there was something big in his way. His life wasn't ordinary like the majority. Deere was once again showed in the market with his new product line, this time featuring lawn and garden tractors with attachments like mowers and snow blades. Finally, the company established its centralized headquarters in Moline, Illinois, giving it a more organized global structure. Despite all